try to get comfortable. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm excited to dive into a bit of a different topic. I'm not doing a travel focused video today or a lifestyle focused video. I guess it is kind of lifestyle focused, but it's not fashion or beauty related. It is actually goal setting and financial planning related. Now, one second, let me just have some of my tea. Side note, I've had like 2 coffees today and I'm trying to shift my coffee intake. I've been drinking like 3 coffees a day ever since I started working from home, and like truly once the pandemic started, I don't need that many coffees. So I'm really making an effort to cut back, like just do 2 a day, but it's a bit of a struggle. I don't even need the caffeine. It's more just like I like the taste / the comfort of the warmth. So tea it is. Anyways, so today's video is a little bit of a different vibe than what I normally do. I obviously am someone who loves to focus on adventure and travel and fashion. Those are 3 of my passions. But I also am very passionate about goal setting and planning and making lists and just setting up my future. I've always been someone who enjoys making goals. Ever since I was a kid, it's been something I was interested in. And to be honest with you, for a long time, I was tracking my spending. It's something I stopped doing for a few years when I was working on Star Trek, just because things were so busy all the time. But now that I am working from home and getting a salary, I am actually like tracking my spending. So that should be helpful. So today I'm going to dive into 3 different topics. I'm going to go into how I do my finances. I'm going to go into how I do my monthly intentions and my goals, and then I'm going to talk about my quarterly goals. Now, I did a video like this last year with my friend Meg, but I thought I would do one for 2022 because we learn and we grow every single year. So let's dive right in. The first topic I'm going to go over is finances. So I got this book. It's pretty basic, lined notebook. So what I do, I have a few different categories, mostly because I have started a business. So I have a personal finances section, I have a freelance section, so all the money I make from all of my content creation work that I do, and then I have a section for my candle business that I'm starting. So basically, if you have a side hustle or you're starting a business, I would track what you're making from that business every month and what you're putting out for that business, just so you can see, how much you're growing in the year, where you could rein in the spending. I mean, every business in the first year spends more than it makes. I mean, at least in my experience and many other people I know. Like last year I had to buy a new camera and I had to buy new microphones and tripod and lights, so stuff like that. That's all going to cost a lot of money. Editing program, music programs, and it's not until like recently that I've been seeing actually more money coming back in, which is awesome. So if you want to track how your progress is going, I would say every month I write, okay, January 2022, income, expenses, how much I made that month from freelancing and how much has gone out in terms of things I had to buy for the business. But like as my year continues, I will see, okay, am I bringing in more than I'm spending? Because if you're going to be working on a business, you don't want to be spending more than what you're making for too long, or, I mean, not that it's not worth it, it's more just like, obviously that's not the goal. So that's how I would say if you're starting a business. And then when you get into more income and your business grows over the years, well, that's a whole other ball game. I mean, I won't dive into that right now because I'm not at that point yet. Like I track all of my finances on my computer as well. So during tax season, I actually can see it all on one page and I know who I've invoiced and when they've paid me. But I also like writing it down just for my own personal perspective. But having a document on your computer of all of your income from the year is also helpful, because at tax season, you're gonna wanna know, okay, how much did I make this year? What was it monthly? So yeah, I just kind of write down my finances in 2 different places and I find that really helpful. But I mean, obviously if you're somebody who works a normal job, I don't know how to say it, but somebody who just gets a salary, you have your pay stubs, you get your T4 and that's that, this might not necessarily be for you. But if you are an artist or a personal trainer or somebody who works contract to contract, I highly recommend writing down all of your finances so that you don't get dinged at tax season, because you're also going to have to put away a certain percentage of taxes because the government will come back at you for those. And then diving into my personal finances. Now, I've kind of had the same method ever since I was a kid. It's something that my mom taught me. On a piece of paper, I write down everything that comes in that month and then everything that goes out. So there's fixed expenses, which is like rent, my car payments, insurance, my phone bill, gas, groceries, like those things are like non-negotiables. And then I have another section that's more variable expenses. So dinner and drinks, adventure activities, like if you go snowboarding or you're gonna go, hiking doesn't really cost money, but snowboarding, or you're gonna go out to a museum, or you're gonna go to an adventure park and you have to spend $50 to get in, like that kind of stuff. Clothing and fashion, so shoes, accessories, clothes. Coffee, I'm a big coffee drinker. I go out to a lot of coffee shops to work, so I track that as a separate category. Beauty, self-care. Those are just some examples that I do. So I would, if you're gonna start this new, I would track your spending, write down everything you buy every month, and like start to figure out what kind of categories you would place everything in. I've been doing this for a long time, so I kind of know my categories, but if you're new to this, I would definitely try and just like write every single thing down individually, and then at the end of the month add it up and see, okay, what are my most popular categories? And what I try to do, I'm not always the best at this, is at the end of every week, I will add up what I've spent in that week. So I'll go through my Visa bill, I'll go through my checking account, things that came out, and then I'll categorize it into each section. So like, let's say $120 for your car payment. Okay, add that up, put it under Jeep expenses. Or how much did I spend in groceries this week? And I write it down under groceries. So that's one way to do it. I personally like putting things in my notes on my iCloud because I don't always have this notebook on me. So if I'm like at my boyfriend's on a Sunday or I'm here on a Sunday and I don't have this handy, I just tally things up in my notes section, go through my bank account, and then at the end of the month, I'll put it in here. And then actually this is a thank you to my friend Meg. At the end of the year, she'll actually go through and tally up her monthly expenses from every single month of the year. So then at the end of 2022, you can see, okay, how much did I spend on coffee this year? How much did I spend on alcohol? How much did I spend on my Jeep? So I'm really excited to do that. I've never added it all up at the end of the year before. Typically, I just add it up at the end of the month and I'll see, okay, how much came in and how much came out. But I'm really excited to see how much I spend in a year. Like, what are my monthly expenses on coffee times 12? It's also a nice way to track your savings. So like, if you have excess money at the end of the month, you can put that into a savings account. I typically try to automatically contribute to a savings every 2 weeks, just so that you guaranteed do it. If you're not prioritizing saving, it's not always easy to do it because you forget, or you'll spend your money on something else and then your bank account doesn't have enough money to put into savings. So that's the way I do my finances. If you have any questions about that, let me know down below. If I don't get to it that every week, to be honest, I'll just do it at the end of the month and I'll literally spend like an hour, hour and a half deep diving through my account and tallying up every purchase and categorizing it into my specific categories. And then I know how much I spent in that month. So I've actually got to catch up tomorrow. It's going to take a while, but I think it's important to see where your money's going. Because if you can like see on paper, I am spending X amount of dollars on going out with friends. If it's too much, if it's out of your budget, you're gonna rein that back in. If you don't think about it at all, your habits aren't gonna change. So trust me, this is not always easy, but I do think it's worth it. And I'm really looking forward to this year getting back into it because when I was younger, I did it all the time and it was definitely something that helped me. All right, moving on to point number 2, quarterly goal setting. So I only started this a couple years ago. Again, thank you, Meg, for introducing this to me. She's like my goal setting buddy, and it's really hard because I'm not in Ontario anymore, and so we don't have our like monthly meetings like we used to, but we still send each other photos of our goals and our intentions. So we're still keeping up with it, but it's different when you're not in person with this person. Anyways, okay, so quarterly goal setting. Basically, there's 4 quarters of a year. And businesses typically do their goals and revenue in quarters. So first quarter, January to March, second quarter, April to June, third quarter, July to September, fourth quarter, October to December. Now, this isn't a way that I ever broke things down in my life, but I'm really enjoying it just as a general overview of my year. So last year, you can see here, I did some basically just do a quadrant and I write down all of my goals for that quarter. It's nothing fancy, it's just things that I want to achieve in those 3 months, and they are steps that get me towards where I want to be by the end of the year. And basically when you look at it from a 3-month perspective, it's a little bit easier to break it down month by month. So obviously last year's were a little bit different because I hadn't moved yet, or I was about to move at the beginning of the year. So, you know, January, February, March last year, it was like, okay, network as much as you can when moving to Calgary, like reach out to people ahead of time. And I have people specifically listed as to who I want to reach out to, stay on a consistent weekly YouTube schedule, which I was doing for quite a bit at the first bit of last year. Prioritize 5 days a week of working out, declutter, minimize my life, like things that I knew needed to be done in order to get me to the next quarter of the year, which is when I was actually landing in Alberta. So from that point, I kind of review it at the end of the quarter and say, okay, what did I do? I did that, I did that, I didn't do that. Well, let's bring it over to the next quarter. So like the second quarter of last year, you know, I said, okay, I want to set up 1 networking session a week. I want to apply to an acting agency. I want to take a Skillshare class, just things that I know are going to get me ahead in life. And writing them down and saying you have 3 months to do it is a pretty good way of going about it. Everybody sets up their quarters different. Like, I do it all on 1 page for the whole year. Some people might take a full page for 3 months. It's really up to you how you format it. I just think it's really nice to check in with yourself. If you're not going to do it every month, every 3 months is a really good way, because then you can just remind yourself of like, what are your goals this year? How are you doing progress-wise, and where do you want to go as the year unfolds? So this year, I have just done 1 quarter, obviously, because it's now March 5th. I still have the rest of the month to get through. So my goals for the first 3 months of this year were I wanted to finish an Instagram training course. I have like a marketing course that I'm taking. I want to get 2 more clients on board for my business. I want to start making candles and start an online store by the end of March. Find movement daily in my life, continue with my yoga challenge and gym growth. Like, I'm really focusing in on my health the first quarter of this year. Learn something every week about marketing and advertising, because it's a new realm for me. It's not like my background is in marketing and advertising. And strengthen my photography skills, be proud of my work. So when I look at this, it reminds me of all of the things that I want to achieve in the first 3 months. And then if I haven't been doing all of that, I'm like, okay, I've got like 3 more weeks to get some of this done. Probably the last week of March, I'll sit down and I'll start going through my second quarter goals. So yeah, that's how I personally do my quarterly goals, and it's very colorful. I don't know, I have fun with it. I get my markers out, and it's a good time. The third point I'm going to talk about are my intentions. Now, this has been my intentions book since 2017. I got this book in Freiburg, Germany on March 30th, 2017, and I've been using it for intentions ever since. I love this book. Like, I use it for my intentions, but I also use it for like summer bucket lists and winter bucket lists, because I love doing bucket lists. And I use it for my quarterly goals as well. Also, I've done my 10-year plan in this book. I've done it twice. I did it from age 28 to 38, and then I did it from 30 to 40. So I've used this book for a lot of things, and I'm running out of pages. This will be my last year. It's come in very handy. But basically, I just find a book that is not lined, blank pages, something that you enjoy looking at, and I get colorful with my intentions. Intentions are, the best way to put it is that they are, what do you want from this month? At the end of every month, I sit down and I reflect on my month prior, and I think, okay, what do I want different for this next month? Or if I'm doing a yoga challenge, like, how am I going to achieve that? And so they're not necessarily like goals, because they're not like super specific, but I say intentions set the tone of your month. So oftentimes I'll take my quarterly goals and then I will reflect my goals from that into my intentions. So, okay, for example, one of my quarterly goals in quarter one was to finish my Instagram course. Okay, well then I know that this month I need to spend like 2 hours a week doing that course in order to finish it by the end of March. Or incorporate movement 5 days a week was another quarterly one goal. Okay, so in my intention for the month of March is make a gym appointment 5 days a week, or make a gym appointment 3 days a week and do yoga one day and go for a run one day. It's kind of taking that big goal for the 3 months and bringing it into the reality of the month. I can tell you some of my intentions from January and February. In January, I said I wanted to build my content creator and producer website. I wanted to put together a media package for brand deals and prospective clients. An intention was to participate in the 30-day yoga challenge. I wanted to take a Skillshare or Adobe Lightroom course. And I wanted to set up investing again by the end of the month. So I didn't do every single thing in here, and that's okay. Obviously, I wish I did, but sometimes we don't do all of our intentions, and that's okay. The point is you set the intention and you're more likely to do it if it's on paper. In February, I had like keywords for my intentions. Okay, persist being one of them. I wanted to spend 6 days a week, spending at least an hour growing my business. I wanted to move, continue working out 5 days a week. Routine, lean into the beauty of a routine. I wanted to take time to journal. I wanted to start my mornings off with lemon water with my coffee. And then word number 4 was align. Put together a candle business model, launch creative website, finish my pitch packages, and get some intro emails for my clients. So every month looks a little different, depends where I'm at in life. Some months it's literally just like enjoy summer and see your friends more, or take baths more often. Not that I need to remind myself to take baths more often, because I like them every day. But that's an example for you maybe. Or cut back on refined sugar, or like this month I'm trying not to eat refined sugar, so that will be an intention for March. I'm a little behind. I know it is the 5th. I'm gonna do them tonight actually. It could also just be like call your mom more this month, or go for daily walks for your mental health. Like it doesn't have to be intense goals. Like I just think sitting down and realigning with what you want every month is a really nice tactic. So yeah, aside from setting intentions and quarterly goals, I do also have an agenda, which I will go grab. I love a good agenda. So my 2022 agenda, and I do this like every year. I've been doing this since I was a kid. At the beginning of my agenda, I write down my goals for the year. So I break them down into different categories: creative and career goals, health goals, personal growth and life goals, and financial goals. And in my agenda, I literally write down bullet points of things I want to achieve in the year of 2022. Personal growth is like, I want to join a volleyball league, or I want to take sailing lessons this summer. I want to donate blood, which I did in January. I want to participate in a spring cleanup. But yeah, I do that as well. And then at the beginning of each month in my agenda, because it comes with a little calendar in there, I write down a heading for the amount of workouts that I do. So then I track my workouts every month in there. And then I also started a to-do list of the different sections of my life, because I was feeling a little all over the place this year, because I'm trying to do a lot. My business, my like general life stuff, and then my candles, which is also a business, but I separated them just because there's a lot to do for each of these sections. I have my overall goals, and then I have my to-do list in the agenda that I can look back to and cross things off. There's a lot that goes into when you move, like changing your driver's license over, getting new insurance, getting a new health card, starting a candle company, like purchasing scents and getting like postage figured out, and then all my media packages that I need to do. So I just feel like there's so much that needs to be done all the time, and by writing a to-do list and breaking it down, it calms my brain a little bit. So yeah, these are my tactics that I use to have a great year, and it might be a little bit much for some people. I highly recommend it. If you have any questions, please comment down below or message me. Find me on Instagram. If you don't have me on Instagram, check me out, cornelia.audrey. I post on there regularly along with TikTok. And yeah, if you like these kind of videos, let me know. I will do more. But that's how I set my year up for success. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next Sunday.